Let's talk about Swansea City, because there's quite a lot of stuff that I want to get off my chest, starting with Wednesday night. The 3-2 win against Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup, sending them into the last 16, was one of the most exciting cup games, cup comebacks, cup moments that I've watched as a neutral in years. And when Ethan Galbraith hit the bar with an absolute worldie, only for Cameron Burgess to smash it in first time on the half volley from the edge of the box, some of the noises, some of the celebrations, even as a neutral, were remarkable. We got dogs barking, we got children crying, we've got an angry wife, but I loved every second of it. And it was not hard to notice that in a game like that, players like Ethan Galbraith, with his quality on the ball, did not look out of place against Premier League midfielders. Yalkuye on loan from Brighton did not look out of place with his ball carrying, as well as Galbraith's and Galbraith's passing as well. It was really fun to watch. And then, of course, Vipotnik comes off the bench with a brilliant first-time finish, continuing his good form ahead of Burgess's winner, the second for him in the game. An incredible night in Swansea, and it feels like right now the energy and atmosphere in that stadium, the connection between the fans, the head coach Alan Sheehan and the team, is something that could be very special if it can be sustained. And what a good start to the season it has been. Just as George has been saying all summer, Swansea's recruitment suggested that this was going to be a team making a jump, and so far so good on that front. And so it's within that context that I got to talk about stuff off the pitch as well, because there's been news on that front too. Rich Montague, Swansea's director of football, left the club after 7 months. Now, this is the sort of stuff where it's really hard to know from the outside exactly what goes on within clubs in terms of these roles off the pitch. But it certainly does seem unusual, I suppose, that after a summer window, which objectively I think we can say went very, very well, particularly the signings of Galbraith and Burgess, but others as well, it is certainly an unusual thing to do for a club to, immediately after the window closes, make a fairly significant change behind the scenes. It seems particularly unusual, just from the outside, that a club that has had 5 directors of football in 6 years, per training ground guru, would make another change after a period, and certainly a period of recruitment, where things look to have gone very, very well compared to previous summer windows. And certainly local reports that I've read suggest that from the club's point of view, the global head of recruitment, Adam Worth, is the one that they are backing here. There will be no replacement to Rich Montague in terms of a director of football role. So it's Adam Worth who will be kind of the north, south, east and west when it comes to Swansea's transfer and recruitment strategy over the next few windows, as long as nothing changes anytime soon. And it's interesting in that Worth has, until he joined Swansea, not worked within a football club before. He's someone that came from the gambling industry. His LinkedIn suggests a career timeline that has taken him from being a sports trader for a betting company, in fact 2 or 3 separate betting companies, and then straight into Swansea in an analytics and recruitment role, and clearly very quickly being promoted to being top dog on that front. It's not unusual for someone with that background to come into football and to get a job within the analytical side of the game. That has been in hand really ever since Tony Bloom and Matthew Benham created the 2 most impressive upwardly mobile English football clubs through their use of data, analytics, and of course that came from gambling background. So that in itself is not unusual. One thing that I've learned over the years, particularly when doing some consulting work within football, is that while data is absolutely crucial within recruitment, it doesn't help with the crucial aspect of getting deals done. Football, like most industries, has a place for data and analytics, and in particular when it comes to recruiting players, it can save clubs a lot of time and a lot of money, and it can of course unearth some gems. But one crucial aspect that hasn't changed at all is that deals still need to get done. And in football, they can be quite messy. Business is done in a very inefficient way. And so contacts are important. And so deal making and negotiation is very, very important. And that's where someone who hasn't worked in the game previously may have some difficulty if they are coming into it without a huge contacts book and potentially with less understanding of the machinations, if you like, of the transfer market. Tom Gorringe is the chief executive. He'll be overseeing contract negotiations, and Adam Worth taking charge of recruitment and recruitment strategy. There is just an orange flag, I guess, for me there is, have they got someone within the building that will be able to get the deals done, liaise with agents, liaise with clubs, meet with players, all of that stuff. It's almost a job in its own right outside of the actual identification of players, shortlisting, working out targets, working out budgets. Getting deals done is basically a job in its own right. And Swansea have removed someone who was within that sort of role typically and haven't replaced him. So will be very, very interesting to watch over the next few windows. There's so much to be excited about around Swansea at the moment. The product on the pitch is great. The style is good, and defensively the team look better than they have for a long time. The head coach, Alan Sheehan, has made a great start, and in terms of his character and personality, a lot of Swansea fans feeling very warm towards him. The new signings, a lot of them doing really well, and a lot of the signings from the previous summer are coming on very nicely in their second season, like Vipotnik, like Ronald, and that's to be expected really if you're shopping overseas. The new ownership group seem more willing to spend money on the team than the last ownership group, and that's the sort of thing that will make fans happy as well. But although I'm not that excited to talk about finance within football, it's not what gets me excited, and I think that's the same for most fans. One thing to keep an eye on is Swansea's PSR requirements, that is profit and sustainability. I can boil it down to this. In the EFL, you are not allowed to lose more than £39 million over a rolling 3-year period. So, what do we know? We know that in the 22-23 tax year, Swansea posted a £17.9 million loss. In the 23-24 tax year, Swansea posted a £15 million loss, and that included a Joel Pirot transfer fee, which was pretty significant. So that is approximately a £32-33 million loss over 2 years. Now, we don't know what the 24-25 accounts will say. Clearly, that tax year finished in April, so the club will already know what that says. But it was a season where there were no massive player sales for Swansea, and therefore not much ability in terms of player trading to cover what are pretty significant losses. And then this summer, well, we've seen a very chunky net spend with quite a lot of transfer fees paid and very little brought in from transfer fees. Now, of course, clubs across the EFL and particularly in the Championship all lose a lot of money. They are all aware of the requirements and the regulations, and selling players is not the only way to raise your revenues or to plug gaps or to cover off losses. But that is one major way that clubs do it. So I am definitely keeping an eye on Swansea from a PSR point of view over the next few months. The 24-25 accounts will probably be announced relatively soon. And that's why this is a fascinating club right now. So much to be excited about. A few things to keep an eye on off the pitch, this sort of constant reshuffling that we've seen within Swansea. Yes, it's not as interesting or exciting as player recruitment and squad building and manager hires and sackings, but it is important and it does have an impact on how teams do in the mid to long term. So will Swansea now stick with what they've got, with the setup that they've got, and will it be successful in the mid to long term? We will only find out as we go, and we'll be able to reflect as we go on DragonSports, the best Welsh sports site. There's no ads on dragonsports.co.uk, and we'll be here on the YouTube channel covering Swansea, Cardiff, Wrexham and Newport County throughout the season. So please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel.